No one prepares you for how expensive it really is to move out of your parents' house. It's not just about rent, but everything that suddenly comes with fully being on your own. It's exciting, but I'm gonna be breaking down the real cost that people don't talk about. So let's get right into the video. If you've been rocking with this channel for a while, I posted this video, the ultimate moving out checklist, girl talk, budgeting, planning, all that last year. So if you haven't, after this video, feel free to check that out to know other checklist items that could be helpful. But for this video, let's go ahead and just start with the obvious cost, rent. When you move out, it is not just about however much they say the monthly rent is. It's utilities, it's additional fees like garages if you have one, trash fees, anything, those little tiny fees that add up on top of the base rent. So for example, if the rent says that it's gonna be $1,500 a month, go ahead and account for maybe $250 extra on the higher end. Sometimes it's not that high for all your utilities, how much water you use, if you like long showers, if you run the dishwasher every other day, if you wash your clothes all the time, all of that adds up in your energy bills. And that's just something to really keep in mind because you think you're paying $1,500 and you have just enough for $1,500 a month, but it's good to go ahead and just plan that it's gonna be $2,000 a month. It's not, but it's always best to have a little bit more than you need, just in case one bill is higher the next month than it is most months. But before we even get into paying rent, we have to talk about security deposits. Typically, that is your first and last month rent. Some places only do first month rent, but this is basically just saying I am responsible enough to be able to contribute this amount of money to show you that I'll also be able to do that throughout the rest of my term lease. So it can be anywhere from literally $1,500 the first month rent, or it can be, you know, a portion of that. It can be $1,000. It can be anything. So you just have to be prepped and prepared to pay that security deposit, and it does not go towards your first month rent. You still need to have that. Or if you're getting a townhome, same thing applies for your mortgage. You're gonna have to have a couple $1,000s saved up and apply that to closing costs. You're gonna apply that to if you're working with people that can get you into programs that help with financial assistance. You just wanna be prepared to always have about $1,000 to $3,000. That sounds like a lot, I know, but that's why you need to look at this video now. If you have a little bit of time to save up, have that be your goal. And then whatever extra that you can apply to it, apply it. But for now, let's start there. Next are application fees. What's really important, pro tip, if you work somewhere in the area that you're trying to live, your best bet is to ask them, do you partner with this job? Do you partner with healthcare workers? Do you partner with educators? Sometimes they have waived application fees, waived admin fees for people that might work within the system that's partnering with. So it's important to ask all these questions. And then renter's insurance. It's always best to have it. You never know. You're almost probably never gonna use it. You don't wanna be in a situation where you need insurance and don't have it. So budget for that. I think it's only a couple $100. Sometimes it's even much less than that. It just depends on where you're at, and it's different wherever you decide to get renter insurance through. Sometimes it's through the apartment or through the townhome or whatever. Sometimes it's your separate renter's insurance that you have just separate from that. When you're living at home and trying to move out of your parents' house, rent is typically $0 unless you finish college and your parents are like, you're gonna live under this roof, let's go ahead and contribute. That was my situation personally. I paid a portion of the rent and that's what it was, but it was much cheaper than paying thousands of dollars every month for a set amount of time. And then you decide that you want to do something different and life is good. But on your own, it's the backbone of every single decision that you make. Next, living at home cost you never paid for. This is the part where a lot of people go, how much did you say that was? Like you really start looking at different toiletries because you're like, $3 toilet paper, $18 toilet paper. It becomes that down to the bone when you start living on your own. But I'm not a rapper though. That, you know, that kind of rhymed. Anyways, I already talked about utilities. I wanted to go ahead and group that into rent, but the next thing you need to consider, internet. Whether you want it or not, you're getting it. So whoever your apartment or your townhome or your place, I think it becomes a little bit more easier when you have a house, but for townhomes and apartments specifically, they're typically gonna be with the internet providers. So go ahead and just budget that in. I think it's no more than maybe 80 to 90 a month. It just depends. Everyone uses internet differently. Some people need the highest speed because they work in tech or they just do a lot of stuff online. Some people can live without it. And so that'll be up to you, but you have to do that research. Just know it's gonna be an extra expense. Now the thing people do not consider a lot, household items. It's expensive, y'all. It really is. Stop buying the paper plates. Invest in a really good dining set, like 4 to 8 plates that come in a set. Invest in that. Go to Williams and Sonoma and find something that is your vibe. Go to the Goodwill if you're like, I really don't care about plates that much. Find something that's your vibe and wash those dishes, because over time you will spend more money getting paper plates, paper cups, paper utensils than just having a set amount that you can just rewash every single time. But that includes your soap, your detergents, sheets, your towels. For my ladies out there, every single month, we gotta be wearing diapers. Not really, but you know what I mean. We gotta really make sure that we're taken care of down there. If you're on your own, so are your streaming services. You are no longer on your parents' accounts, especially these streaming services that now put it towards one household. I'm gonna tell you right now, you're gonna have to get your own streaming service. Like, you can't share passwords like that. Now, some places you can, and that's great. Let's pray that it stays like that. But for the most part, you're gonna be paying that money. And so continue thinking, what streaming services do I absolutely need? For me, YouTube Premium is an absolute must. Now that I've lived a year without ads, I will happily continue paying that subscription service and do. But things like Hulu, I don't care. Like, I just need one streaming service because I barely watch it anyways. YouTube is my streaming service when I'm not creating. So you just have to get really specific with what you're okay with. I don't have Amazon Prime. Yes, I have Netflix, but it's because my mom has Netflix and she doesn't use it, so I can just use that. You have to find your loopholes to save as much money as possible, because everything does matter now that you want to be on your own. And that's cool. You just got to prep for it. You know what I mean? When you live at your parents' house, those costs are next to invisible. You have the access to it. But when you move out, they're monthly. So plan for it. Next, grocery shock is real. Grocery bills will triple depending on how you eat. For me, I've talked about it in previous videos before, but I like to eat as organic as possible. I'll go to the farmer's market if I get the chance. I will try to find the best fruits and vegetables around. But if you're used to just getting a couple items and bringing it to your parents' house and cooking them or warming them up, I can guarantee you, if you're someone that likes to cook, if you're someone that likes to find ways where you can save money and that looks like cooking one week and eating out the next week, it's gonna add up. So you gotta plan for it. I cook every day if I get the chance. Now, that's just because I have the time right now in this season of my life. I can see that if I change jobs at some point in my life and it's asked more of me, I may not wanna cook every day. Or I may want to meal prep and figure out what's easy to do that and what days I eat out. But either way, you're gonna have to spend money on food. I remember getting out of college, even still like being at my parents' house, I remember saying to my mom, like, every day I have to figure out what I want to eat. That is insane. And I'm grateful to be able to have that problem, because a lot of people don't have access to that. But it truly is mind-boggling that every single day I know I'm gonna have to eat something twice, maybe 3 times a day. And every single time I don't know what I want. But what's helped is during my workout journey, if you're not familiar, I did like a playlist here where I was doing like a back on track series, helping people kind of understand how they can get back into their workout journey. In that journey, I realized that everything I eat, I don't have to love. And that's why I started losing the weight, to be honest, because everything that my taste buds craved, I could not feed it that. If I wanted to lose the weight, I would be making pancakes at midnight. No, I needed to find easy sheet pan meals that had a lot of fiber and protein. And sometimes I don't need a starch, a protein, and vegetables. I need a good protein that's gonna fill me up, some vegetables, because you can never get enough of those. It's low calories, high in fiber typically. And then when I get hungry and I'm feeling like I want a sweet treat, I replace an actual sweet treat for fruit, because I'm still getting the same satisfaction, just one's better for my health. So keep that in mind when you're going grocery shopping. Also, pro tip, do not go grocery shopping when you are hungry. Don't do it. It's gonna really cost you. And some days, be realistic. You're gonna have a long day at work. You're just gonna be in a mood. You just don't feel like dealing with the kitchen. Eating out because you're tired is fine. But eating out because you're tired every single day is not fine. Find a system that works best for you, where you know 2 days out of the week, no matter what, I am going to decide when I wanna eat out. You might know you have a long 10, 12-hour day coming up. What is the food that you're gonna crave after that? Great, have it already. If you know you have a day that you have less time to do things, plan to do that too. At your parents' house, food goes from available to your now new place by yourself, living alone or living with a partner, living with your husband or wife or whatever, to paid for and cooked by you. So plan it and make it easy for you. Next, the one-time cost. Furniture, let's talk about it, because I have my Pinterest board. I have several Pinterest boards that show what my place would look like with an earth tone, that would show what it would look like with just a minimalistic tone. And I'm sure you have it too, and that's great, but it all adds up. I highly recommend getting into Google Sheets, finding the links to the furniture that you want, putting the links in there, and then associating those costs with those links, so that you know, not only do I have rent and a mortgage and maybe HOA fees if you do have a mortgage. So if you're not familiar, I haven't really talked about this, but in a mortgage, so that can be a house or a townhome, you might have an extra monthly cost between $50 to $175 a month, because the HOA, which is the homeowners association, will go around and they will mow everyone's lawn. They will make sure everything looks pretty. You have access to the community pool, the community gym. It's basically like apartment living, except the only difference between renting and buying is that you're actually owning the place eventually, and you're building equity in a townhome versus no equity in renting. Renting, that money you will never see again. And that's fine. If that's the season of your life you're in, the way that your job is structured and you're cool with that, great. But if you do want something that gives you money back once you're ready to move, I would highly recommend deciding to go with a townhome or a house if you have that option. You're living in it for 5 to 10 years. I know that sounds like a long time, but time goes by so quick, it's not even funny. You will have maybe double the equity in a developing place where you can sell that place, get money back for your next place, and then have, keep doing that. But back to furniture. The point is you want to make sure that you have a spreadsheet that shows what you want, how much those costs are, so that you can get those in increments. Because when you get the place, you don't need to have it fully furnished. You can just figure out what works best for you, honestly, and when you want certain things. Kitchen items, those are really sneaky one-time cost. I mean, trash bins, utensils, spices. I mean, getting the spice cabinet is so important to me. That's like top one thing. That's like my couch. I can wait on my couch for about a month, but my spices, the way I cook, they need to be in the drawer. Cleaning supplies, cleaning supplies, cleaning supplies. These are probably the lower cost, one-time cost, because cleaning supplies will pretty much last you for a couple months, depending on how much you're cleaning. If you don't have a lot of guests coming over all the time, you won't have to use it. I have like a weekly cleaning set, and then sometimes if it's just one of those weeks, it's a bi-weekly cleaning set, because I know I'm only using certain things pretty consistently. It's just mainly to get dust off, make sure that your house is still getting an upkeep. And then moving cost. I hate moving cost. It's so crazy to me. Actually, I take that back. I love moving cost because I don't have to do anything but tell someone what to pack and where it's going. Sometimes I'm laughing because I packed up at my parents' house every time we've moved. And I think the last time we did that, we were like, nope, we need to just have movers come wrap everything up. We did all of it and moved all of it. It won't happen again. Not on my watch. So plan for moving costs to be at least $2,000 to $3,000 if you're moving within the area. If you're moving across the country or moving to another state because of another job, see if in that job offer, in that interview stage, if you can find a way where they can cover your moving costs or at least a portion of it. So come up with a number, and truly a number that's gonna help you ship your car or help you get that furniture. Then you don't have to tell them what you're using it for. You just need to say like, look, I'm moving to another state that is not within driving distance of an hour. And even if it is, still ask. A closed mouth doesn't get fed, and it's better to ask for forgiveness than permission. Those are the two things that I live by. But all the boxes, they're like $2 to $3. Those are gonna add up because you have so much stuff. The trucks itself, they're gonna add up. The help, I mean, they do it by the hour. So even if you're 20 minutes over, you're gonna get charged for 3 hours if they did, 3 hours and 20 minutes. At the end of the day, buying slowly is okay. I'm de-influencing you to tell you that you don't need a couch in your home within the first 2 months, okay? It's okay. Sit on the floor. Get some bar stools. It's also important to keep in mind that the time cost is associated with this. You're gonna have to clean your own space. You're gonna have to keep up with it. So if you're someone who struggles to even keep your bedroom clean, you're gonna have to fix that. Find a way where you sit down for a couple of hours every Sunday or every Monday or whatever it looks like for you. Clean up your space, because you're gonna have to do that when you get your own place. I keep rhyming this video and I'm living for it. You're gonna have to schedule everything. You're gonna have to keep up with your own plans, and that is okay. Like, if you get a system in place right now because you're doing your research and planning to see what you need because you're serious about this, all you need to do is find a way. Get your phone. Figure out what calendar app works for you. The notes app, if you're more of a pen to paper, get a nice notebook. You don't need a planner, just get a notebook where you can say like, Friday is your day where you have a little bit more time. I'm going to the farmer's market. I'm gonna go get a car wash. I'm going to schedule a carpet cleaning. Like, if you stay on top of your stuff, it's gonna be so easy to manage this new and awesome and amazing moment for you. And then managing bills and deadlines. You do not wanna be late on rent, honey. You do not wanna do that. Do not make it harder than it already is to live. If it's between getting concert tickets or traveling somewhere with your girls and rent, pay your rent. I'm like, pay your rent. I'm so serious. This is the part of adulting that you sign up for when you decide to move out on your own and have to make these big grown decisions. And it's not always gonna be great, but you have to be realistic with yourself and say, look, I might not be able to get this concert ticket now. And if it works out that I can get it next month, or my friends can wait until next month for me, whatever, great. If not, I'll find something else to do and I'll find another event to go with them. You know what I mean? So just be mindful of that. It's not always great, but it is helpful. Next, the mental and emotional cost. It's gonna be really lonely when you first move out. You're gonna be excited for a couple weeks, maybe even a month, but it's gonna hit you. I experience this sometimes even when my parents are traveling and it's just me, and I'm like, This really sucks. You know, I don't have friends around, or like it's a weird season in life where everyone's like traveling and having babies and getting married, and that's cool and you love that, but there are gonna be times when you feel lonely. So you have to figure out, when I feel like this, what is something that recenters me? Because a lot of times I would find myself in my own space and I would just like stare at the ceiling or just be like really down. I'd let myself sink into that feeling. And you gotta put on, like for me, I put on gospel music, or I find a new K-drama, something that takes your attention off of the obvious. Like it's obvious that you're feeling lonely, you don't always have people to fill up the space with you. Cool. I can spend time in my word. I can listen to gospel music. I can FaceTime someone. I can find a new show. I can cook a new recipe. Like building those skills for yourself in different areas of your life will always combat loneliness. Now, sometimes you're just gonna feel it. Get some popcorn, pop on a show, and let the night be what it is. But tomorrow, don't like live in it, you know? You're gonna have the pressure of having it all together now that you've made a big grown decision, but just know it looks different in seasons of your life. You're gonna miss being at home. If you're in the opportunity where you live in the city still with your parents, visit them, because there's gonna come a time where maybe you move or they move and it won't be that accessible. Enjoy it and nurture it while you have that moment. Even if they annoy you, trust me, even if they annoy you. And sometimes you're gonna feel behind if money is tight, and you just have to find ways where you feel more organized and planned with that. Quick hitters, last things to remember: have an emergency fund. You always wanna have at least $1,000 in a saving. Better to have 2,000, because every emergency usually can be around that if it's a big one, but sometimes you'll have smaller ones. And have grace with yourself. It's okay, this is a new step. You're getting things done on a timeline that works for you. So if you're planning to move out soon, save this video and come back to it, because there's gonna be points that help you at every stage of your life. Good luck. I'm gonna be creating more of this. So if you stayed until this long in the video, leave this emoji so I know that you're a real one, and lock in, because this is a new exciting part of your life. I'll see y'all on the next episode of Party One Podcast. Peace.